always triumph. In fact, sometimes, it seems like good guys get pelted with metaphorical stones while the self-serving swagger passes unscathed. Buckle up, for we're diving into the unsettling paradox of good guys finishing last. Have you ever felt like your kindness is a neon sign screaming "exploit me" to the world? Like your empathy leaves you perpetually bruised, while those who prioritize themselves seem to thrive? This, my friend, is the shadow side of goodness. The part where selflessness isn't a crown, but a target painted on your back. But wait, weren't we taught to be good? Didn't our childhood heroes always win? The truth is that societal narratives often peddle a brand of goodness built on self-denial. A goodness that hinges on constant sacrifice and ignoring your own needs. This, let's be honest, is a recipe for burnout and resentment. So, what if the real myth is the idea that goodness requires martyrdom? What if true strength lies not in turning the other cheek until it's numb, but in understanding the nuance between kindness and self-betrayal? The integral part of changing this central belief should start with changing your own default go-to thought process. In the quiet corners of our minds, where doubts linger and questions linger unanswered, we've all pondered the perplexing reality. Why do good guys so often finish last? It's a question that echoes through the corridors of our experiences, challenging the very foundations of our beliefs. From childhood, we're taught the virtues of kindness, empathy, and selflessness. We're told that if we treat others with compassion and generosity, the universe will reward us in kind. The Christian teachings, in particular, echo this sentiment, promising divine favor to those who prioritize the needs of others over their own. But as we journey through life, we're confronted with a harsh truth. The rewards of goodness are often elusive, and the road to success seems paved with the struggles of the selfless. We witness kind-hearted souls enduring hardship after hardship, while those who prioritize their interests soar to great heights. I, too, have pondered this enigma, grappling with the disparity between noble intentions and harsh realities. For years, I embraced the notion that selflessness was the ultimate virtue, and that sacrificing my own desires for the sake of others would lead to blessings beyond measure. But as time wore on and the struggles mounted, I couldn't help but question the validity of this belief. The more I gave of myself, the more I watched others thrive at my expense. It seemed that every act of kindness only served to further deplete my reserves, leaving me drained and despondent. And yet, despite the mounting evidence to the contrary, I clung to the hope that someday, somehow, my selflessness would be rewarded. But as the years passed and the struggles persisted, I came to a startling realization. Goodness alone is not enough to guarantee success. In fact, it may well be the very thing holding us back. The notion that we must deny ourselves to serve others is not only flawed but inherently damaging. We've been sold a lie, a deception masquerading as divine truth. The idea that selflessness will lead to prosperity is nothing more than a cruel hoax, perpetuated by those who benefit from our naivety. In truth, it is not the selfless who inherit the earth, but the selfish who seize it for themselves. And so, we find ourselves at a crossroads, faced with a choice: continue down the path of self-denial, or embrace the truth of our worth. It's a daunting prospect, to be sure, to challenge the very foundations of our beliefs. But if we are to truly thrive in this world, we must cast off the shackles of selflessness and reclaim our right to pursue our own desires. It is only by prioritizing ourselves above all else that we can hope to achieve the success and fulfillment we so desperately crave. It's time to shatter the myth of goodness and embrace the power of selfishness. It's time to stop finishing last and start winning at life. As I reflect on my journey, I realize that the narrative of selflessness as a pathway to success is deeply ingrained in our societal consciousness. From a young age, we're bombarded with stories of noble sacrifices and selfless acts of heroism, shaping our perception of what it means to be a good person. We're taught to put the needs of others before our own, to prioritize altruism over ambition, and to measure our worth by the extent to which we serve others. But what if I told you that this narrative is fundamentally flawed? What if I told you that by neglecting our own needs and aspirations in favor of others, we're not only doing ourselves a disservice but also perpetuating a cycle of self-destruction? The truth is, the world is not kind to the selfless. It's a harsh reality to accept, but the sooner we do, the sooner we can begin to rewrite our own stories. We've been conditioned to believe that sacrificing our own happiness and well-being for the sake of others is noble, even virtuous. But in reality, it's a recipe for resentment, exhaustion, and ultimately, failure. I've seen it firsthand. The kind-hearted souls who give and give until there's nothing left to give, only to find themselves depleted and disillusioned. They pour their energy into supporting others, neglecting their dreams and desires in the process, all in the hope of someday being rewarded for their selflessness. But more often than not, that reward never comes. So where does that leave us? Are we doomed to a life of perpetual self-sacrifice, forever chasing after an elusive dream of divine recompense? Or is there another path? A path that prioritizes self-love and self-preservation over altruism and self-denial? I believe there is. It's time to challenge the status quo, to reject the notion that selflessness is the highest virtue, and to embrace the radical idea that we are worthy of our own love and care. It's time to stop waiting for permission to prioritize ourselves and start seizing our own destiny. But make no mistake, embracing selfishness does not mean abandoning our compassion or empathy for others. It simply means recognizing that our own needs and desires are just as valid and important as anyone else's. It means setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and unapologetically pursuing our happiness and fulfillment. In Don't Be Stupid, Be Selfish, you will discover the transformative power of prioritizing yourself. This book is your guide to breaking free from the chains of self-neglect and stepping into a life of empowerment and success. You can get this book by clicking the link in the description below. Dive into the pages and start your journey towards a more fulfilling and successful life today.